Hari Om. So we shall continue the powers of pranayama in Patanjali's Yoga Shastra, which is in Hinduism. This is the part number 6. So far I have done up to part number 5. This is the part number 6. Part number 5 is again pranayama and part number 6 is again pranayama. I am continuing pranayama. It's a big subject. Therefore, see, the main point one has to understand here is pranayama is an exercise. It is not just simply the breathing in and the breathing out. It is a pure Vedic exercise, just like your yoga and just like your dhyana. That is why Panini has brought in as 8 limbs, Vibhaga, in his Patanjali Yoga Shastra. And yesterday we saw in the chapter 2 how he deals in 49, 50 and 51, where he actually says cessation, stopping, stand still. Cessation takes place in the pranayama. It ceases. So, from one cycle end to the start of the other cycle, the gap will get elongated. After one cycle is completed, naturally we cease, cessation takes place, and we start the inhaling and the exhaling and the kumbhaha. So, but then as the experienced pranayamam yogi does, from the first cycle end to the second cycle starting, the gap will be there normally for everybody. Even for an inexperienced man, the gap will be there. But the gap will start expanding so that there is a viruddha, there is a nirodhanam. Ruddhva, you can see in Bhagavan also says. So, when the gap expands, that is in the exercise, they actually live without breathing. So, and we saw how the ratio can be the Purakam, the Kumbhaka and the Rechaka. Puraka inhaling, Kumbhaka holding, and the Rechaka exhaling. That is Irat we saw in Tirumula's Tirumandiram. Therefore, Yerudal, inhaling, Arudal, Kumbhakam, holding on, and Urudal, exhaling. That's what Tirumular says in his Tirumandiram. Irattu 64, adil 32. That's what he says. So 16, 64 and 32, which is nothing but 1:4. So 1:4 is to 2. So if you do anything other than that, he says, Ondrinkan Panjagamame, he says it may be harmful to you. That's what he means. Now, I also told you how in the Tamil Vedic literature and also in our Vedic literatures, they are called matras. So, 2 matras will be there. Roughly 40% of today's 1 second is these matras. 2 matras, that is, what will happen is 40% if you take of 16, it is Irat. That's what Tirumular says. Irat means in Tamil 2 into 8, 16. That is 6.4 seconds in the English second, in the modern second, modern timing. And then 40% of 64 will be 25.6 or 4 times the 6.4. And then 40% of 32 is 12.8. That is exhalation. That is the Rechaka. So very clear. Bhagavan also says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verses 29 and 30, it is very interesting how he says how akalmishaha can be removed. Chipta. Let us see the verse 29. Let us start in chapter 4, 4.29. Bhagavan says, Prana apane. See, when you take the pranayama, it starts with 29. Apane. Apane means in the apana. In the apana means in incoming. Apana means it is purakam. It's inhaling. Apane, the incoming breath. So, apane juhvati. Aham juhomi, I will say, means I am giving an offering. I am giving the food. Something like that. See, in Agni, we give offerings. No, swaha, vashatkaraha, we say. We give ghee, dadihi, dadikra, dadi, or we give Samiti also we offer to the Agni. It's a food for the Agni. So for the Swasa, Juhvati, what? Let us see. Prana and Apana also is being offered as a food, where the Bhagavan says, let us see the verse as it is in chapter 429. Apane Juhvati Pranam, Prane Apanam Tata Tatha Aparaha, Tata Aparaha it will come, but Anvayaha we have to do some breaking. Tata Aparaha, what Apare, what they do, in the other, what they do, Prana Apana Gati Rudhva, stopping cessation, Pranayama Parayanaha. Parayanam. They do the Parayanam of the Pranayama, means Rudhva after. Now, what is the meaning of this is, some yogis give the Apana, the incoming breath, as the food for the Prana. Prana Apana. Prana means outgoing. So, the incoming is offered as a food for the Apana. And others directly opposite. The outgoing is the food for the incoming. One is the incoming breath is prana. They say prane, in that apane. Apane is incoming. So apane is being offered as a food in the first case, and the prana is being offered as the food for the apana in the second case. So prana is outgoing breath is offered as a food to the apana. Apana is always incoming. Even if I have a slip of my tongue, please note that. Apana means incoming, prana means outgoing. Okay, that is very clear. So one is offered as a food by some yogis as a sacrifice. We do the yajna. If you do the prayer, or if you do the yajna, one is offering as the outgoing, the incoming breath as the offer for the outgoing, and the other yogis offer as the outgoing breath for the incoming. Okay, that Rudhva, cessation. What is meant by that Rudhva? Rudhva means ceasing. So what is meant by that ceasing? The ceasing is they are controlling by their arduous practice this pranayama. The incoming breaths and the outgoing breaths is being offered as a food. And let us see so they get absorbed in this pranayama. They do the parayana. Parayana means what? Generally prasangam. But the pranayama parayana means in that parayana of the pranayama, in the ritual of the pranayama, they get absorbed. So what happens? Rudhva, the pranayama itself, the outgoing and the incoming Rudhva, after stopping it, Rudhva means cessation, after ceasing, after cessation. Now, in the next verse, Bhagavan says, he doesn't stop, Bhagavan doesn't stop, then I will come to the complete meaning of that. Bhagavan says in the next verse, Apare, the others, Nitya, Niyata Ahara. Ahara means food, Ahara, we say, Niyata, the prescribed food, Niyata Ahara, Pranan Praneshu Juhvati. Juhvati means offering. Swaha, Pranan Praneshu, amongst the Praneshu, Juhvati. So what happens? Sarve, the survey, apyete. Ete, these, api, ete, it comes apyete. Yajna vida, yajna vida. Yajna means the knowledge of yajna. Yajna vida, yajna chipatha. Yajna chipata, akalmashaha. Akalmashaha, the impurities. Chipata is throwing away all the impurities. Yajna by this process. Now, what does it mean? Bhagavan says very clearly, some sacrifice the outgoing breath to the incoming breath as the offering in the yajna in the pranayama ritual, and some directly the opposite. They offer the incoming as I told you. And in that way, some practice very toughly in that way what? This pranayama, and they regulate the incoming and the outgoing breaths. Rudhva also means regulation. Regulate, and they also cease, they stop it, becomes a standstill, outgoing breath, and they get purely absorbed in the life energy. The pranam is a life energy, life force. When the life force consciousness also goes, that's what Swami Abhayananda also says, the matter cannot feel the pain. The body, when the life force goes away from the body does not feel the pain. Consciousness is left with the prana. So pranam brahme divya janat pranadhyaiva kalvimani bhutani jayante Pranena jatani jivanti is what we say in Taittiriya Upanishad. Pranam. Prano Brahmaha iti vyajanat. After knowing that. So know that from the knowledge of from knowing the knowledge of that prana is the Brahma. That's what they say. So prana is very important, the life force. So, and what Bhagavan says, others take the prana as their food. The food intake is the prana only. And offer their breath into their life energy. So the prana becomes the life energy. The prana becomes the food. And the prana becomes the life force and offer it to them. Some yogis do that. They only live only on prana, only on breathing. I know of a yogi, I have heard about him, though I have seen his pictures through a very close friends or relations of mine, somewhere near Velur, near the Ratnagiri, Velur, there is a Ratnagiri Muruga temple, somewhere on the hills. If you go and inquire with the villagers, there is a Siddha who doesn't eat at all. His main food is only the air, breathing, the Vayu. He lives like that. You can go and verify, because I have heard about it, I have seen him in pictures, and he has come for certain functions. I have heard about him. See, there are a lot of persons like that who live only on air. That's what it is. So pranayama, which is the fourth limb of, very important limb of Patanjali's Yoga Shastra, is not ordinary as you think. When you control the prana, see, when I start doing prana exercise, I have developed my energy. I have developed my holding capacity. It's now about nearly 2 minutes, nearly 1.5. 1 minute and 50 seconds I am able to hold my breath. I have checked with my atomic watch. Though I am not a regular practitioner, I am not daily practicing, I teach, and whenever time comes, I sit down and practice. So every one of you, I request you to do the pranayama exercise at least for 10 minutes. It's not going to take much of your time. It is not going to take much of your time. Then prana chikitsa we have. One knows, then these points are all this Marma Kala we say in Kerala. Marma Kala, main points, acupuncture points, here, then the central point, then above the navel, the points, then here. By deep breathing you do those exercises backside. So these exercises, pranayama, prana chikitsa, is a very important exercise. I am not advocating any hardcore exercise like going to gym and lifting weights. Please, I personally of the opinion that they may do more harm than good. See, you take the big boxers and all, they may be strong up to their 40th or 45th year, then afterwards they are weak. Like if you take Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali, he couldn't even walk. Maybe when he was in his prime, he had a lot of strength, but not the health. So these pranayama expands your lung sacs, the air sacs which is within your lungs. They expand. Just like if you go to a gym and do those exercises, your muscle is hardened. Your lung sacs get expanded, retention capacity is expanded, free flow is there, it clears your pathways, it clears the lungs also, all this slush, dirt, whatever you call in whatever terms you want. Everything is cleared nicely. And as the oxygen goes to your brain, even amongst your neurons, the slush which is prevalent in synapses between two neurons, I will come to that in meditation, also gets cleared. All this slush gets cleared. See, you have to have a strong brain, a strong lung power and a strong heart basically. And the heart is the vital. The breath is the vital for all the organs to develop and stay strong. Our breathing in, good breathing of pure air is very, very vital. That's what prano brahme divyajana prana deivakal vimani bhutani jayante prane najatani jivanti pranam prayansa visham vishanti iti tatu vigyaya. That having known that, the fellow goes, Varuna goes and asks his father, Bhrigu goes and asks his father Varuna. That comes in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Krishna Yajurveda, in Sikshavalli, in Bhriguvalli it comes. Therefore, pranayama, though simple as it may look, it is a very, very vital exercise which we should not forget and leave it. At least 10 minutes a day or 5 times a week. Maybe you are too busy or you have to run to your office and all. But before going to your snana, in the snana room, in the snana prakoshta itself, in the bathroom itself, you can do a long prana. pranayama exercise, inhaling one, exhaling the other 5 times or 10 times, and inhaling the other and exhaling the other nose. Enough to start with. And try to hold as a kumbhaka for as much as possible. If you can do this formula of 6.4, 25.6 seconds and 12.8 seconds, at least 5 times pranic exercises, one nose each nose 5 times. So total 10 times. Fantastic it will be. That is about 6.4 by 25, 31, 31 plus 12, 33 seconds. And 10, 15 seconds, some rest or whatever it is. Another equal amount rest. So you will get only 1 minute. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes is enough. Comfortably, without in a hurry, you set your timings, and then after doing that, you just leave to your regular work. And this will develop your lung power, breathing exercise to a very great extent. So, with this, the pranayama part, the fourth limb of Ashtanga Patanjali's yoga is over. I will go to the next one. We have like pratyahara, we have dharana, we have dhyana and siddhi and all. We shall see. Savikalpa Samiti. Edgar Mitchell, the famous astronaut, I think it's a 14th Apollo astronaut, PhD from electrical engineering, I think from Cornell University. He fell. He got himself entrapped into this beautiful Savikalpa Samiti. You can Google and find out. Dr. Edgar Mitchell, astronaut. Okay, my dear friends, shall see you in the ensuing session. Till such time, Bhuyat Tavat Shubhamangalam. Hari Om.